kill it. I was meant to win. I am down and willing, so I will find a way. It took a minute, now it didn't happen right away. When it get hot in the kitchen, you decide to stay. That's how it winners made. Stick a fork in the hater on my dinner plate. I walk into the fire like it's just a bit of flame. I switch my style up, watch the money pile up. I'ma get rich with life.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast, where we're celebrating the athletes of the 2024 CrossFit Games Semifinals. And I have with me CrossFit Games legend, Will Moorad. What's going on, Will?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here.
Yeah, so what's interesting is I've been around the sport a long time as a volunteer and then into media. I've been in the building for a lot of your big events. So in 2014 in Cincinnati, I was there when you first punched your ticket to the CrossFit Games.
Oh yeah. Hey man. Hey, that venue. That's probably one of my all-time favorite venues, but definitely good memories in Cincinnati. That's rolling back the clock. I haven't really thought about that in a minute.
Yeah, you kind of came out of nowhere that year.
Yeah, I mean,
to the late fan.
Yeah, fair. Like I think I was one of the top seeds going in, like after the Open, whatever that means. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of history behind my name at that point.
And there you were. And it was a cool venue. Like it had a great warm-up area.
Yeah, huge warm-up area, like completely separate from the venue. It was a little bit of a walk to get to the arena, but yeah, still one of my all-time favorite venues. I think just because of the separation.
Yeah, because once you were off the floor, you kind of were away from everything. Got to be with, and
you could shut it down, like really cool the engines, and then restart, which I appreciate. I mean, every venue is a little bit different. Even last year in Orlando, our hotel was right across the street, so it's similar, right? I like just to be able to turn off the switch and then turn it back on for the events.
And then I was in Knoxville when you made the 81-point comeback to punch your ticket to the games.
Yeah,
pretty epic events, man.
Yeah, man. I got a list of them now. We're heading back to that arena, so hopefully less stressful competition next weekend.
So the big question for me is, you've been competing both Masters and Elite throughout the season. You finished first in the semis for 35 to 39. Is there a focus, or are you just doing both until the meter runs out somewhere?
No, the plan is Texas.
Okay.
But really, and I wasn't really planning on doing the Masters, just because my focus is Texas. But there is my family, my friends, my coaches, a lot of people were like, dude, no one's ever competed at both. I think people have qualified for both. I think Briggs, maybe Becca Voigt. I need to check my history. Maybe the answer to that, but no one's been able to compete at both. So the opportunity to do something that's never been done before in the sport is kind of unique, and rare opportunity. Not everybody gets the chance for a first in a sport. So that's kind of cool to me. And Dave actually came to Tennessee for one of the Open announcements, and he stopped by the gym we were training at, and he kind of put the bug in my ear as well. He's like, hey man, why don't you try to go for both? And I was like, well, that's a lot of training, man. And when you're about to be, I turned 35 on Saturday. It's like, you got to respect the body. But I ended up doing the semifinals for the Masters. Actually I did the whole simulation of the individuals. Then I rested a day, and then I did all the Masters semifinal events in like 36 hours. So it was like a mini games, just to knock it out so I could get back to preparation for Knoxville. So yeah, I rushed through them all, ended up winning that, which is, I would say was my expectation. I think I'm probably the first gen, or like part of that first gen of guys who were like really professionals that are now aging up. And I think there is a gap. Like
Yeah.
now between guys that have been doing this as their livelihood for a decade, and then people that, I don't know. I just think there's a gap, right, between guys who have been bona fide pros for a long time and then now aging up. So I think from now on, you're going to see some top level guys and girls starting to aging up, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big gap between them and the rest of the field in the age group categories, if they decide to keep going.
Yeah, a
But
lot of the OGs have not even attempted the Masters, like your Riches, Scott Pinchuk did last year, but I got
he
sick of
was
the
sick.
games.
Yeah, I think he was sick. He had the flu or something, which sucked. But yeah, Scott did it. I guess Spiel did it. Casper Bauer, your Rankar. I'm leaving guys out. So a couple guys have done it, but still, like, they weren't 24 when they got into the sport like I was, right? And like
Right.
done it as their livelihood. So it's a little bit different. And for Rich, I mean, why would that dude's got nothing left to prove? Like he's
Yeah.
he's the man. So I get why he didn't do it. It's a lot of training. It's hard on your body. I don't recover like I did when I was 24, 25, 26, 27. And he's got kids and stuff. So there's like, I don't have kids. So there's a lot of just lifestyle factors that I think impact your ability to continue to compete at the highest level in sport as you get older. There's a lot of things that become like, you just reorganize your priorities, which is life, right?
Yeah, which is a couple roads I want to go down. One is the recovery. Like, I was talking to Jamie Hagia on Sunday, and she's done the same thing, right? She's done the elite and the masters. It's like you don't really get a weekend off. Now, she goes a week earlier than you on semis, so you actually had a little bit bigger gap between age group semis and elite semis. How does the body feel after all that?
I feel okay. Like I feel like I have every other year, a little banged up. I don't think I've gone into a semifinal or a games healthy ever. But what's healthy, right? Like I've been training well. My testing has gone very well for these events. The age group went well, and I was able to just kind of coast through that. So I feel like I'm a 35-year-old athlete who's been competing in international sports since he was 17. So, I don't know. I feel good. I'm happy. Like spirits are high. Today's a rest day, so that's nice. I'll get some body work, and thank you. I do have a lot of nice books. I know how to read. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you're the first person to have like a library behind you as we talked.
This is more my wife, as far as the aesthetic goes, but I was a lit major, ex-phys and lit major. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, when I graduated with my master's, I swore I'd never read a book again.
What'd you get your master's in?
Business.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I read so much in college, especially for lit, right? And I read now more of just like training guides and case studies and things to improve recovery and like super boring black and white stuff, where literature is a little bit more gray as far as what you're reading about. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So my other question that you brought up is you've been through a lot in your career, right? You had the misdiagnosis in the late teens, your wife's cancer, all of those things. Has it made you appreciate what you have now more?
Oh yeah, man. And it was just public, I guess, me going through that stuff. So does seem crazy, but I think everybody, has to go through crazy things. Those were just a bit more public facing, so it maybe is, magnified. But yeah, man, I would say I definitely appreciate things. And I think the athlete I was going into the 2014 games will look a lot different than the athlete I am going into the 2024 games, assuming I go do my job next weekend. So I've I've grown up in the sport and I've had a lot of life experiences, and I think those challenges outside of the floor of competition have helped me just in life. I've always said sport's such a great teacher, and you have, I've missed the games by one spot and I've made the games by 1 point. Like I just have a lot of experience in the sport and outside of the sport to just give me I think a healthy perspective on what is important to me and what gives me fulfillment. Not only like in my training and the way I do that, but just also in life and the way I'm the husband I am and the brother and the friend and all that. So yeah, I've had a wild ride, a little bit wilder than I would have liked, and a little bit wilder than a lot of athletes have had, but I'm better because of it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. When you qualified for the first time, that was the first time I'd ever volunteered for an event. So I instantly became a fan because like you popped on the scene. That was my first ever live event. And then the misdiagnosis happened. And I was like, and we didn't really know about that. You just stopped coming to events. And it was like, what's going on? Then when it popped up later of what the reason was, like, I just was in shock.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been a bit more private with things like that. And I just it didn't really hit me to be like, oh, this is woe is me. I was just gonna kind of move on. And I thought my chapter of life as a pro athlete was over. And to be completely frank, like to get to the highest level of sport is great, and I was at peace with that. And I had thought that was kind of the end of that. And I moved on, and I got a job in the tech world with one of the members of the gym I owned at the time, and just kind of turned the page, just to keep using the metaphors of the books behind me. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're in Nashville now. You're close to just about everything that's happening except for Texas. Like Knoxville is just down the road. Then Birmingham, if you would happen to go to the Masters games, not that far from Nashville. So you're kind of in the epicenter of everything. When did you move to Nashville and why?
Yeah, so I moved to Nashville in 1994.
Oh, wow.
I'm a unicorn here. I think I was 3 or 4, 4, I believe.
Like what, 3 billion people have moved there since?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like where my neighborhood is right now was just cow pastures.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved because of my dad's job. Me, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad all moved here, and I've grown up here and lived here ever since. So Nashville's changed quite a bit. But it is the happening place. It's I think unique to be in a place that for this long and to watch it change. At least it seems unique, maybe just because of the enormity of what Nashville's become now. But yeah, I am close to Knoxville, and Birmingham's they're both about 2 hours away, so it's convenient for this year. And I mean, Texas is what, a 90-minute flight. Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and 2 major airports, so you're lucky there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you left Proven in the off season. Are you coaching yourself, or do you have a coach?
Yeah, I moved on from Proven after the games. I did a lot of my own stuff through the off season, and to be honest, I did a lot of my stuff throughout my whole career, whether I was attached to a brand or not. I just kind of like the autonomy, and I think that is just being able to exercise like my ex-phys background and things like that, and trusting myself is important. And I think most athletes need to have some autonomy in their life, especially as they become, more veteran athletes. No coach is going to know exactly what you need to do all the time. They're just not in your body. But I'm working with Max El-Haj at TTT again, which has been great. Yeah, I've been working with him since around Christmas time, and yeah, it's business as usual with him. Like, we've known each other a very long time, so we know how to communicate. There was no learning curve. It was just back to work.
And like for someone who's been around as long as you, and you've actually done some coaching yourself, like,
Yeah.
do you and Max have like this synergy where he knows what you're capable of and what you're going to take care of, and just where he
Yeah,
needs to step in?
absolutely. There's a trust there. And it's all about communication, and we're great at that. I'm actually talking to him a little bit later today. But yeah, he trusts me. And I think it would be almost a regression for me and for him if I just put everything on his plate. So he's helped me a lot just to develop as an athlete, to trust my process, um, to trust him and to communicate with him and to understand that he's going to look at things objectively and what he thinks I can actually do, and approach them on how we can improve my performance. Where sometimes if you try to do that yourself, it's easier to be a little bit subjective or biased towards different things. So yeah, he's great to work with. I actually, one of my clients I am coaching, one of my clients just qualified for the Masters Games, Beth Gillette. So that's pretty
Okay.
cool. I can add that to the resume, which felt just as good as making the games, to be completely honest with you. Like making the games last year versus getting one of my clients to qualify for the games, same feeling. So that was really cool.
I would just love to get more eyes on the Masters altogether. I covered Legends last year. They're just
Mhm.
there's so many stories in that group of people that
Yeah.
need to be told. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we're definitely going to be covering the Masters games this year.
Very cool.
So that's always baffled me with people who coach themselves, is how they can self-assess without bias.
Hmm.
So it's cool that you have someone like Max that you can talk to that's going to give you the frank answer, like, no, you really suck at that. Or,
Exactly.
right, you know?
Well, like in pro sport, there's no sugarcoating it. You know, if you need to snatch 300 pounds and you can't snatch 300 pounds, then you need to learn how to do that. Like, and at this point in the sport, everybody's like, oh, how do I do this? What do I need to do? There's so much data on what the best in the world are capable of. Just open your browser and Google things, and you could probably write out exactly what metrics you need to be a CrossFit Games athlete, or get pretty damn close. I mean, there's no secret. Everybody's like, oh, I got the secret program, I got this. It's like, no, at this point, sport's been around long enough. You've got some of the best athletes to ever do it, and all their data and all their regional scores and game scores. Chase those. You know, it's right in front of you. And that's the truth, right? You're the coaches, I think all the big coaches are using those numbers. What
Yeah.
else are we going off of, right? So
When it sounds like you're a data guy, and,
yeah.
Max is well known for being a data guy. Um, do you have everything spreadsheeted out? Like, this is where we need to be, this
Uh,
is where we,
yeah, not to probably what Brent has it spreadsheeted out as.
oh,
I love
okay.
Brent. He'll like that. But uh, yeah, I mean, I know I have plans, and I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean by spreadsheeted out, but I have a lot of data points, and especially in pre-competition, I have a lot of uh, key indicators of where I need to be in workouts, in preparation, in warm-ups, in recovery. Everything is mapped out. Uh, and a lot of that is really just intuitive at this point. It's just programmed into me.
So what does it look
So
like on a competition weekend? Is Max going to be there? Does your coach's band go to someone else that you just need as support, or a pack mule, or?
yeah, it's a little bit of both, right? My wife will probably get my coach's pass. She got it last time we were in Knoxville, so we'll just keep the good vibes there. But Max will be there. I'm sure Travis will give Max his, so he'll be in the warm-up area with us. Um, and then I'll have like a body work guy, Chris, come with me, which is very important, just keeping the body fresh for the weekend. And that's it, business as usual. Like once we get to Knoxville, it's everything's on repeat. Uh, and it's just rinse, repeat.
With you and Travis both being under max, do you ever train together, or are you just veterans and you just do your own thing?
We trained together a lot in the past. Since I've come back on with Max, I haven't been down to Atlanta yet. I assume I'll go down there for a few weeks for games prep, assuming we both make it next weekend. And me and Travis are longtime friends. He was my first other pro training partner I had in my career. And we started training together right after the games in 14. So there's a lot of miles on that relationship. And obviously, he's had a lot of changes in life with his family growing, and I've had a lot of changes in my life, obviously with all the challenges you've spoke about earlier. So we've kind of been friends through all that, which is, it kind of transcends sport at that point. So he's a great friend of mine. And yeah, to answer your question, we're just kind of both pros on the weekend, and we kind of do or on the day-to-day too. We just do our own thing, and really we check up on each other, just how's the fam more now than how's training going. We've shared semifinal event scores and stuff like that, just to get good pace strategies and insights. But really, it's just checking up on the human.
So I actually talked to Kira Napoli yesterday, who Travis is coaching and dipping his toe in that coaching water. And it was really fascinating to hear her perspective on Travis as a coach. But that they have like all these ground rules because he has 4 kids and a wife and needs to get to all that. But it was really fascinating. And I love Travis. So it's going to be fun to see him back on the floor next year or next week as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the workouts are out. Everybody has said you can take these 6 workouts, drop them in 2014 or 15, and they would fit.
Yeah.
That it's just classic CrossFit. Nothing.
I'd like to see the guys run in 2014 and 15. I would have been all right? Like, I was always a good runner, but the running game has changed a lot since my first year to now, in a great way. Everybody's a great runner now. At least like the top 10, 15 guys at the games are quality runners. So other than that one, which would have been, I think there would have been just a bigger spread. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a great weekend.
You've been to Knoxville. Any ideas where they're going to make you run?
I have an idea. There's I think I have an idea where the route will be.
The loading dock area?
Yeah, we'll run out the loading dock, and then I think we'll loop around to that one side, not up towards the parking garage, but down around the other side. And then I think that's flat-ish, and it's a longer area, and we might do like a loop there or something. Other than that, if it's not, then it's going to be a hilly run, or maybe they bring those treadmills out for us.
I don't think they're bringing the treadmills out.
Yeah, I doubt it after
it would make sense you go out the loading docks and either go down or up the hill, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's flattish if you go to the right, if you go out.
Okay.
But who knows? Yeah,
I don't know. Flattish as Tennessee is.
Exactly. Yeah, and that area in Knoxville, like that, just where the Civic Center is pretty hilly. So we'll see. We'll know next week.
Did you did 16 regional snatch ladder?
Yes.
How much better are you today than you were then?
Much better. Which is nice for an old man. I was like, oh dang, that's a really good score now. So hopefully I can replicate that on Sunday after mid-morning or whenever that is.
Jake Chapman says Will looks like Bradley Cooper if he lifted weights.
I think that's a good thing.
I think so too. I'd take that. You have a baseball cap collection?
I'm a Cubs fan. How about that?
I'm sorry about that. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, but I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. See, I just pick all the losing teams.
Yeah, I've kind of been in that realm for a long time too.
But yeah. And then someone compared you to Troy or Gladiator or 300. Or which one do you prefer? Troy.
Dang, those are all tough. So 300 kind of inspired the CrossFit thing because all those dudes were doing Jim Jones back in the day. We can really test people's trivia on CrossFit. So Mark Twite, who is a friend of Dave's, I guess, trained those guys for 300. So there's a little CrossFit connect there. I think Gladiator's got to get the nod, right? Like it won. It probably inspired those other two movies. So,
Yeah, my pick.
but I'm not
Gladiator,
a movie
hands
guy.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell Crowe was amazing in that. And what the Phoenix guy?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, he was awesome in that as well. But yeah, so what's the plan for Knoxville? You live fairly close. Are you going in just Thursday?
We'll go up Wednesday, get settled. I mean, the good thing about being able to drive up there is we do all the meal prep, and I'll get my last training session in here probably at the house, and then we'll go up Wednesday, get settled, do a flush out Thursday, check in, and then showtime, baby.
And you say work out at the house. Does your garage have everything, or do you have to go to an affiliate for some aspects?
Yeah, I have everything. I mean, I have a 14-foot rope. I probably won't do rope climbs on Wednesday. Other than that, I have pretty much everything. It's like 25 feet, and yeah, I've accumulated enough over the past decade where if I needed to, I'd get by and train for the games in there, which is super convenient.
So is it like a barn or is that just a big garage?
It's just a 3-car garage. It's right on the other side of this wall, actually.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, maybe I'll do like a little garage gym tour or something.
What was amazing is yesterday Rogue announced that they were moving out of their original facility, and I live here in Columbus.
Okay,
so
cool.
They posted like all the equipment is free, just come and get it.
No way.
And I was in a training for work and I could not get out.
I bet that thing was empty so quick.
Oh, when they used to do the garage sale, like
yeah,
the amount of people, and that was just when they reduced the price. Like this was free. They would have been like cockroaches flying in that place, man. I'm so sad I missed it because my garage gym is not that big. And I do have some nice equipment. If I can get a little more, I'm going to go
get free. I mean,
right.
Come on.
So, goals for this weekend, just qualify, or do you have do you want to hit like event wins or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I finished 6th last year, pretty much the same field. I'd like to improve on that. And that's as simple as that. So top 5, I guess it would be.
In North America East, it's a true test. Like how you finish there tells you if you'll be good at the games as well, because you have a lot of top tier athletes.
Yeah, I think we have a really studly layout of athletes, but that's never changed for where I compete, right? I've always kind of been in the most competitive region my whole career, and I've always had, a pretty good finish at those events. So, I think it is somewhat indicative of how you'll finish at the games, but also the tests are a bit different at the games. There's usually double the events at the games. And it's like who's peaking, and that's another thing that like a lot of people don't talk about. Like, have you peaked correctly? Nothing's guaranteed for anybody. And we have the best. I mean, we got Adler, we got Krenikov, Dallin, Hopper, Trav, me, Saxon, Spence, who else? I'm forgetting some guys, but like we have a studly roster of athletes. There's always new guys, so you never know who's going to come out of the woodwork. I don't know what will happen in Texas, but it's probably an okay indication of what will happen in Texas. Like I finished 6th at North America and then 14th at the games. So I'm sure somebody's got some BS spreadsheet that can compute that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, like if you do well at semifinals in a tough field, then hopefully you'll do well at the games in a tougher field.
It's so funny because you started your career with Scott and Rich in your region. And that 2014 year, like that was epic. And you were in the mix with all that, and the two of them going at it. That was just craziness.
That was, I mean, we had a lot of guys that, I mean, you had Graham, Marcus, Nick Urankar, Nick Forey, Alex Anderson.
Central was no joke.
Yeah, it's the same thing though, right? Like we got a bunch of top 10 guys still, it's always a bunch of top 10 guys at our semifinal. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's just what I've been used to. And you go out there and you race as hard as you can and you see where the cards fall.
Does it make you peak differently than if you were in another division, another region?
I think I train equally as hard no matter what region I was in. I don't think it changes my preparation for a big championship weekend like next weekend will be, right? I call it North America Champs. I think that sounds better than Syndicate Crown. At least for the greater people that don't know what CrossFit is, they probably have heard of like North America Champs if it's like for track and field or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it sounds better. But,
Syndicate Crown sounds like an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, they don't give me the chance to name anything.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm excited, man. It seems like watching last week started to get me a little bit excited. This weekend will get me more excited. And then, yeah, I'm ready to get out there and see what I can do.
Did you learn anything from watching Europe?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives you an indication of how your testing went, which is always a good thing. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Max and just your coach's role in giving you the truth.
Yeah.
You can now you kind of have the answers to the test close-ish. We don't know how far the run was. Obviously, that's the one event that's kind of an up in the air because like their run could be vastly different than ours. What was the temperature? All that type of stuff changes what that dynamic is. But everything else is straight up. It's all on the same competition floor. I believe all the competition floors are probably the same size and stuff. So
yeah, I think they're pretty much all the same except for the tennis stadium. I've heard that.
Oh, that's right.
Shorter, and it's outdoor. They're going to have a couple different factors that others aren't going to have.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's vast. Like even comparing semifinal to semifinal, if those dudes are competing in 100-degree sun, it may be different than competing in indoors or in a cooler climate. I mean, handstand walking on lava rubber is different. So they'll probably do like the glove rule or whatever, like they've done in the past, if it's hot out there.
Yeah. Who knows? Air conditioning may go down in Knoxville. You never know.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. That year did that at the games, man. It was sweltering in that.
That was at 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that during the thruster wall walk workout, man. I've never sweat more. I was like slipping out on my wall walks.
It was like a splash zone every time you guys came down off the wall walk.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Will, this has been a blast. I want to thank you so much. Good luck next week in Knoxville.
Thank you.
We're hoping to be there. And we hope you punch your ticket to the games again.
I appreciate you.
All right, man. Everybody in the chat, you've been a blast. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody next time on Clydesdale Media Podcast. Bye, guys.